Have you ever noticed how some people need attention, not sometimes, but almost all the time? How some people seem confident but become distant the moment they feel ignored? How some people appear strong but react strongly when their image is challenged? These reactions are rarely random. Most of the time, they are protection. Protection of identity, protection of ego, protection of insecurity. Because behind confidence, there is often fear. And behind control, there is often vulnerability. Today, we are exploring something deeper, not personality, not behavior, but the hidden insecurity behind each zodiac sign. Not to judge anyone, not to label anyone, but to understand why people react the way they do. Because when you understand someone's insecurity, you understand their behavior, and when you understand behavior, you stop taking things personally. Let's begin. Before we begin, let's make something clear. This is not psychology diagnosis. This is not medical advice, and this is not about narcissistic personality disorder. Astrology here is simply a symbolic language, a way to understand patterns. Every personality has a light side, and every personality has a shadow. The shadow is not evil. The shadow is protection. Sometimes it protects pain. Sometimes it protects fear. Sometimes it protects insecurity. And when insecurity is touched, people react. Sometimes with anger. Sometimes with silence. Sometimes with control. So today we are not looking at signs, we are looking at emotional patterns. Because insecurity is often invisible, but behavior is not. And once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it. Let's start with the fire signs. Aries. Aries is known for confidence, action, and strong presence. In a healthy state, Aries leads, Aries protects, Aries moves forward. But underneath that strength, there is often a hidden fear, the fear of appearing weak. This is the insecurity of Aries. When Aries feels challenged, they may react quickly, dominance, dismissing other opinions, not because they want control, but because slowing down can feel like losing power. For Aries, strength feels safe, and vulnerability can feel dangerous. Leo shines naturally, warm, charismatic, magnetic. Healthy Leo inspires others, but shadow Leo often fears something deeply, being ignored. The hidden insecurity of Leo is losing significance. When Leo feels unseen, they may seek reassurance, more attention, more validation, more recognition, not always consciously. Because for Leo, attention often feels like love, and losing attention can feel like losing connection. Sagittarius. Sagittarius seeks meaning, truth, understanding. Healthy, Sagittarius explores, but shadow, Sagittarius often fears being wrong. The insecurity here is losing certainty. When this insecurity appears, Sagittarius may become rigid, overconfident in opinions, dismissive of other views, not to dominate, but to protect belief. Because if belief collapses, identity can feel unstable. Taurus. Taurus is stable, grounded, reliable. Healthy Taurus creates safety. But the hidden insecurity of Taurus is loss. Loss of stability, loss of comfort, loss of control over environment. When Taurus feels threatened, they may resist change, hold tighter, become possessive, not because they want control, but because change can feel unsafe. For Taurus, security is survival. Virgo improves things, refines, organizes. Healthy Virgo helps, but shadow Virgo often fears imperfection. The insecurity is not failure, it is not being enough. This can appear as criticism, correction, overanalysis, not because Virgo wants control, but because fixing things feels safer than uncertainty. Perfection becomes protection. Capricorn builds, achieves, leads. Healthy Capricorn creates structure, but hidden underneath there is often a fear of inadequacy. The insecurity of Capricorn is losing status, losing respect, losing authority. This may appear as emotional distance, strict standards, judgment, not from coldness, but from pressure. Because for Capricorn, worth often feels tied to achievement, and slowing down can feel like falling behind. But insecurity does not always look emotional. Sometimes it looks intelligent, sometimes it looks calm, and sometimes it hides behind words. Let's look at the air signs. Gemini. Gemini is curious, adaptive, fast-thinking. Healthy Gemini connects ideas, connects people, connects perspectives. But the hidden insecurity of Gemini is being trapped in one identity, one opinion, one version of reality. This can appear as changing narratives, avoiding accountability, talking around problems instead of through them, not because Gemini wants to deceive, but because certainty can feel limiting. For Gemini, freedom feels safe, and fixed identity can feel threatening. Libra. Libra seeks harmony, balance, connection. Healthy Libra brings peace, but shadow Libra often fears conflict. The hidden insecurity of Libra is rejection, losing approval, losing connection. This may appear as people-pleasing, avoiding truth, saying what keeps peace instead of what is real, not because Libra is fake, but because conflict can feel like loss. For Libra, being liked can feel like safety, and disapproval can feel like danger. Aquarius. Aquarius is independent, visionary, original. Healthy Aquarius liberates ideas, but shadow Aquarius often fears emotional exposure. The insecurity here is vulnerability. This can appear as emotional distance, intellectual superiority, detachment, not because Aquarius lacks emotion, but because distance can feel safer than closeness. For Aquarius, thinking feels safer than feeling, and independence can feel safer than attachment. And while air signs often protect themselves with thought, water signs protect themselves with emotion. And these insecurities can be the hardest to see. Let's continue. While some personalities protect themselves with logic, others protect themselves with emotion. And emotional insecurity is often the hardest to recognize because it rarely looks like control. It often looks like care. Let's look at the water signs. Cancer. Cancer is nurturing, protective, deeply caring, healthy. Cancer creates emotional safety, but the hidden insecurity of Cancer is abandonment, being left, being forgotten, being emotionally alone. This may appear as emotional dependence, needing reassurance, feeling hurt by distance, not because Cancer wants control, but because connection feels like survival. For Cancer, love feels like safety, and distance can feel like danger. Scorpio. Scorpio is intense, perceptive, emotionally deep. Healthy Scorpio transforms pain into strength, but shadow Scorpio often fears betrayal. The hidden insecurity of Scorpio is trust. Trusting others, trusting vulnerability, trusting emotional exposure. This may appear as testing people, holding emotional power, staying guarded, not because Scorpio wants domination, but because being hurt once felt too costly. For Scorpio, control can feel safer than trust, and emotional armor can feel safer than openness. Pisces. Pisces feels deeply, imagines deeply, connects deeply. Healthy Pisces shows compassion, but shadow Pisces often fears reality. The hidden insecurity of Pisces is emotional overwhelm, feeling too much, carrying too much, being responsible for too much. This may appear as avoidance, escaping responsibility, playing the victim, not because Pisces is weak, but because emotional weight can feel unbearable. For Pisces, escape can feel safer than confrontation, and imagination can feel safer than reality. And when you step back and look at all these patterns, a deeper truth begins to appear. These are not flaws, these are protections. Let's look at what this really means. When you look at these patterns, something important becomes clear. No personality is naturally narcissistic, and no zodiac sign is the problem. What we often call ego is usually protection. Protection of identity, protection of pain, protection of insecurity. Because when people feel safe, they rarely need control. And when people feel secure, they rarely need validation. Most difficult behaviors are not about power, they are about fear. fear of being unseen, fear of being replaced, fear of not being enough. And sometimes, the strongest personalities are protecting the deepest insecurities. Awareness changes everything, because once you see the pattern, you stop personalizing the reaction. You start understanding it. And understanding creates emotional distance, not cold distance, clear distance. If you recognize someone today, that is awareness. If you recognized yourself, that is growth, because self-awareness is where real strength begins. And maybe the most important truth is this: everyone has a shadow, but not everyone is aware of it. And awareness is what turns patterns into choices. If something in this video helped you understand someone, or helped you understand yourself, take a moment with that insight, because sometimes one moment of clarity is enough to change how you see everything. And if you want to explore more patterns like this, you can continue with the next video in this series.